Hello, everyone. I am Gursimran Singh Oberoi, the founder and managing director of Institute of Professional Banking. So today we are launching a special series by the name of Banking Insights Unplugged. So we will be mentored by senior bankers in these web series, which we are launching it today. And if I am loud and clear to you, kindly type L and C in the chat box. Loud and clear. If you can see me, you can hear me, kindly type L and C in the chat box. And clear to you, kindly type L and C in the chat box. Loud and clear. If you can see me, you can hear me, kindly type L and C in the chat box. Thank you everyone. And it will be better for us if you can type in your state or city from which you have joined. Your city and state. Thank you everyone. Kindly type your city and state from which you have joined. Abhishek Rawat ji, thank you. Chandigarh, Cuttack, Odisha, Nagpur, Maharashtra, Punjab, Mohali, Mumbai, Maharashtra, Roorkee. Very good. So we have audience across India: Varanasi, Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal, Bangalore, Chandigarh, Jammu and Kashmir. We have. So thank you, everyone. So for today's, we have the guest of the day, Mr. Sanjeev Mangal. So I welcome you, sir. Mr. Mangal has completed his graduation from Punjab, and then he shifted to Chandigarh and he did his company secretary and LLB from Chandigarh. And then his first job was with Sidbi as a project finance officer. He worked there for 7 years in Sidbi and then joined ICICI Bank and was there as a relationship manager and was then taking care of 8 relationship managers as a team leader. For 3 years, he worked with ICICI and then joined HSBC, worked there for 8 years, and now for last 9 years, he is working with Yes Bank. So we welcome you, Sanjeev Mangal sir, here in our first session of Banking Insights Unplugged.
Thank you, Gursimran Singh ji. It's an honor to be here.
Right. So basically, sir, we will be talking about the future of banking career. So my first question to you is, how is the banking industry evolving, and what key trends will define the next 5 years of banking professionals?
So, Gursimran Singh ji, please let me take you about 25 years back when I started my career in project finance. During those time, we used to start our due diligence when we get the papers from the customer. This also included meeting the customer and everything going through their financial statement, assessing the viability of the projects, and so on and so forth. But now, over the years, there is so much information available in the public domain that even before we meet a customer, by and large, we know what kind of credit appetite we have on a particular client and on what terms we can give a loan to a particular client. This has been possible because of the number of initiatives from the tech companies as well as the initiatives taken by the regulator. So there is so much data which has been made available that even before we go to meet a particular customer, we by and large able to get as much information as possible to for our decision making. Uh, Please let me give you another example from the retail banking space. Who would have thought about a couple of decades back that you can walk into a FMCG shop, buy a TV or a laptop on loan, and this entire process can be completed within minutes. So, and also, who would have thought about a decade back that your phone will become your wallet as well? So, coming back to your original question, not only banking, the data mining and the technology has changed the landscape of every industry, and the banks are also evolving along with that. Uh, just to answer your question specifically, it is difficult to put a specific trend how the bankings would evolve over the next 5 years. But I think the technology is changing the every landscape so quickly that the banking is also bound to take its space. So banking is a very large large industry. I would say that within the banking you have corporate banking, you have retail banking, and each segment is getting impacted because of the change in the technology. So I think, as I said, the retail sector, which is definitely going to get impacted to the maximum, and maybe the corporate banking, as I said, with the information which is available for the corporate bankers now, the empowerment is much higher than it used to be maybe about a decade or 2 decades back.
राइट, यू वेरी राइटली सेड सर। पहले वो बही खाते लिखे जाते थे, एंड इवन व्हेन वी गो टू अ बैंक ब्रांच, देन वो बोलते थे कि आपका जिस बैंक में खाता है आप वहीं जाके पैसे निकलवाइए, क्योंकि वो इंटरकनेक्टिविटी नहीं थी। तो अभी सब कुछ चेंज हो रहा है आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस आने से, और ये सारी चीज़ें थी। एंड सर, व्हाट डू यू थिंक, व्हाट आर द टॉप 3 स्किल्स that will be very critical for the bankers to thrive in this digital AI driven banking landscape?
So, Gursimran Singh ji, I think uh, it is not only which is relevant from a digital or AI-driven banking landscape, but let me give you three specific skill sets which I feel is very important if you are working in a banking environment. One is understanding your product and the governance framework around that. And second one, I think, is the understanding of your client. The deeper you understand your client, the better probability of maturing a particular transaction would be, and your personal grooming and presentation skills.
Right.
So, so let me take you each one of these skill sets a little deeper. Um, when we talk about the understanding of your product and the governance framework around that, let us say I'm sitting in the front office of a bank and the customer walks in and asks for an SBLC for an offshore subsidiary. So unless I am aware of the governance framework and how the SBLCs work, I will not be able to address the customer's concerns and the thing that he is asking from me, the kind of information and the kind of knowledge I can share with the client that will help me to navigate through the transaction. And second thing is that understanding your client. Let us say elderly walks into your branch, and he asks you to throw him some investment products. And a good personal banker will not suggest him to invest into equities, given he's a senior citizen and probably his acceptability towards the fixed deposits or the products like that would be much higher than offering offering him something like equity products. So understanding of your customer is very critical. Like from a corporate banking space, if I talk about I have spent nearly 25 years of my banking career in the corporate banking space. So please allow me to give you more examples from that standpoint. The kind of interaction that I need to have with a company, let us say with a turnover of about 300 or 400 crore, would be entirely different from the kind of conversation that I will have with the promoter of a company who was having a turnover of say around 4,000 or a 5,000 crore turnover. Similarly, the person to whom I am speaking to, it's a CFO or a promoter of a company. The kind of conversation that I can have with the CFO would be entirely different from the kind of conversation that I will have with the promoter. So understanding your audience, the kind of person I am speaking to, is very important. And this is the skill set. One is that you need to have a conscious mind on that. And second is that these are the kind of skill set that evolve over the period of time. And the third thing that we spoke about is your personal grooming and the presentation skills. And this is something which is very, very relevant whether you are working in a bank or working in any other organization. Your personal grooming, this is the first impression that a customer will carry with you, carry for you. And this is something which is very important.
Right. So you talked about product, client, and then the relationship skills. So
Absolutely.
yeah, excellent. So, sir, what do you think this AI-driven banking and this machine learning, automation, everything? So, will relationship banking still be relevant? Like you talked about relationships, third point.
So, relationship banking was relevant about 20 years back also. Relationship banking is relevant even now. Uh, the AI or the machine learning, this is the kind of tools which are helping you in decision making. But the interactions that a relationship manager is going to have with the customer is ultimately will decide whether the customer is getting onboarded into a bank or not. So to me, the relationship managers are inevitable. So just to say, for the small ticket size transactions, let us say we are talking about a retail banking product. Uh, as I said, you walk into a FMCG shop. That is an extension that has become an extension of the bankers also, where the interaction with the relationship manager is minimal. I mean, it is not even required now. So this is the kind of automation which has impacted the job of a relationship manager. But once you walk into a branch, and then everybody in the front office is a relationship manager, whether the person is sitting on a teller or he's doing some other job in the bank branch, everybody is a relationship manager. Everybody is supposed to carry a brand for that bank. And yeah, this is pretty much about it.
Right. And sir, you have worked majorly in corporate banking. And what do you think? What is the difference between the skill set required for a corporate banking and vis-a-vis retail banking?
So see, Gursimran ji, the stakes in the corporate banking is a little higher than the retail banking, given the transaction size that a corporate banker handles is relatively of a higher amount, higher value. So the skill set, of course, you have to be very, very thorough about the three skill sets that we talked about earlier. Your understanding about your capabilities. When I say your capabilities, means the kind of things that the bank is capable of doing, and the kind of things that we can offer to the client. That also includes understanding your customer, and then your personal grooming. So I would say in retail banking, the personal grooming is very, very important. I have seen a lot of good retail bankers who are very, very well groomed, and the ones who do not give as much attention to their personal grooming vis-a-vis the other ones. So the probability of success with the ones who are well groomed, having a knowledge about their product, I mean, this is some of the very, very basic things that everyone needs to take care of that.
Right. And sir, where do you see the biggest career opportunities that for young professionals in corporate or retail banking?
So the opportunities will continue to be there. If I'm not mistaken, every bank is hiring. Like if I say for Yes Bank, the bank is increasing their headcount year by year. So just to give you some snapshot, we were about 20,000 odd people about 4 years back, and we are currently around 27, 28,000 people headcounts. So the opportunities are in every space. The retail banking is something which helps you to get the liability business. I'm talking about the savings account or the fixed deposits or the current account balances. These are something which are the cornerstone for your liability business. And then corporate banking space, which helps you in getting the loan book. When I'm saying the retail banking, it doesn't mean that it doesn't help you in getting the retail loans also. Of course, it gives you the brand visibility also, and there are a number of other indirect benefits which comes with the retail banking space. So the opportunities are going to be there in both the sectors, whether it is the corporate banking or the retail banking. It depends upon the individual choices of the candidates whether they want to go to retail banking or the corporate banking.
Right, right. And sir, you joined SIDBI as a project officer, and now you are the president of corporate banking for a universal bank. So, what leadership qualities are essential for a banking professional to move up to the corporate ladder in today's fast changing financial industry?
Uh, so, Gusimran Siji, I think the leadership qualities are same whether you are in a banking career or any other career. It's the passion with which you do your job and your ability to take your teams along with you. So I think these are two basic qualities. If you are passionate about your work, I think 90% of the job is done. It is so contagious that your people sitting around you will also get passionate about getting the things done. So if
Right.
you yourself is not sure about the thing that you are doing, I'm sure the teams also get impacted because of that.
Right. So I was talking to the managing director of some small finance bank 10 days back. So he also said the same thing, that passion plus hard work can lead you anywhere. So that
Absolutely.
is required. So the audience, if you have any questions, you can start writing in the chat box. I have last one question for Mangal sir, and then we will take up your questions. Sir, any one piece of advice those who want to start their career in banking, what would it be?
So I think the younger generation has a lot of inhibitions about starting their career in the banking industry. But let me tell you that I have spent nearly 25 years into the banking industry. I never felt going out of this industry. Uh, yes, the job is difficult, no doubt about that. But then you are paid for doing a difficult job. If the job is easier, you will not be paid for that. This will be
Right,
true whether you are in banking or you are in any other profession. So
right,
if you stay focused, you are doing your job diligently, the results are bound to come. So please don't be bogged down by the rumors around the banking industry that this is not doing well or the pressures are like these are beyond manageable state. Of course, the pressures are there, but the people, they are working and they are managing those things also.
right.
So
So we have seen, like, we have trained around 10,000 students and working in bank, but we have seen, you rightly said, sir, that there is pressure. How can we manage our stress? So we keep on giving some soft skills training on them and bringing some experienced bankers like you and helping them how to maintain the work life balance. But still, sir, what I have seen that जो लोग 2 से 6 महीने बैंक में टिक जाता है फिर वो टिक जाता है. तो
yeah, that's true, and that would be true, Gursimranji, for every job. First 6 months or maybe 1 year is a very crucial time when you tend to learn the things. Particularly for the youngsters, they literally do not know when they join an organization. One is that understanding the organization culture, and second thing is learning about the banking also. So it takes about a year or two for you to take hold of the situation, how the things are working, what is the kind of culture within the organization, and how the banking is working. So I would say that you spend a year or two rather than spending 6 months or so, and then you decide that you need to leave the organization or leave the banking industry per se. So, I mean, for every industry or every organization, you need to give them some time to understand you also, and also for you to understand that industry and the particular organization also, before you take any decision that this is something which is not to your caliber or to your liking.
right, right. So we should give at least 6 months, 12 months
12
to
months before you decide to move on to something else.
right. So I'll open the comment box for any questions if you have for Mangal sir. So, like you started your career in 1998, and you are from a small town in Punjab, and now you are working in Bombay. So, कुछ चीज़ें आपको लगा हो कि these were the biggest challenges, and how did you overcome that?
Uh, so you're saying from a when I started my career,
Yes.
uh, actually I wanted to be in a corporate banking space to start my career. So I was fortunate enough to get into a job which was typical project finance, which is another level of corporate banking as well. So then SIDBI helped me a lot in honing my credit skill set. In those days, we hardly used to get out of the branch to do a sales kind of activity. It was mostly the walk-in customers, and we, as I said earlier, we used to start the due diligence after meeting the customer. But over the years, the things have changed a lot, and now even before we meet the customer, we know the kind of appetite we have on the customer. So I think we got a question why retail deposit franchise is not increasing as per the pace it should be. Uh, it's a little difficult question. So maybe because the public is in general is finding better avenues than placing deposits with the bank. The returns in the alternative avenues of investments are relatively higher than investing into a fixed deposit or a retail deposit. That's one thing. But let you give me some perspective that current account within the deposits, you have current accounts, you have fixed deposits, or you have the savings account. So let me take each of these products separately. For a savings account, this is a very, very matured product now. Uh, so you have to capture the customer at the start of the cycle. Let me give you an example for the students, given most of the audience in this webinar is students, I believe, or the early bankers. So if you pick up the early starters, like the people who have just joined their colleges, let me give you an example. Some of the bankers are so innovative that they are opening up their branches or opening up their extended branches, I would say, in the educational institutions. Those are the kind of audience who have not opened up their account yet. So if you patch them into the banking system right at the start, you are getting them for the rest of your life. So that's one of the examples. So retail deposits, within the retail deposit, saving deposit, this is one of the things that some of the bankers can do. And on the fixed deposits, as I said, the industry scenario itself is a little changing now. Over the last 3-4 years, we have seen more returns coming from the equity space. So that's why the bankers are finding it difficult to get the fixed deposits into their banking stream. So probably that is the reason. And current account market in many ways is coming down. I'm talking about the industry in general. So what if you have seen, it's a question of demand and supply. Uh, the supply is little less currently, and the demand for deposits from the bank is higher. So you would have seen that even after the reduction in the repo rate by the bankers, by the regulator, the bankers have not reduced their deposit rates. So simply because by reducing the deposit rates, they are not going to get the incremental deposits. But the bankers are working hard on that, and they are trying to bridge the gap.
Right. So there is one question from Karthik: How to manage stress in banking sector? मतलब I have met you 2-3 times. I have seen you you are very cool. मतलब लगता ही नहीं है कि बंदा जॉब भी कर रहा है और and you are at such a senior level. And how do you manage stress or?
So it's not like that we don't face the stress. Like in the month of February and March, this is the most stressful period for the bankers, particularly the ones who are working in sales. Uh, so I would say that it's not something which I can give you a formula for managing your stress, but these are some of the things which I practice. Probably, if that's something which works for you guys, you can also try that. One is that stay focused on the things that you are doing. Don't get distracted by what your colleague is saying, that there is so much stress. Yes, if you start saying 10 times in a day that there is a lot of stress, there is a lot of stress, you are, please believe me, you will get stressed.
Right.
Whatever the job which has been given to us, stay focused on that. If the job is to open a current account, make your full efforts. And believe me or not, whenever your boss is looking at you and sees you that you are working hard, you are doing everything possible to get the deposits, and I'm sure even if you are doing 50 or 60 or 70 or 80%, he is going to acknowledge those efforts.
Right.
So stay calm. Of course, you need to work diligently, and everybody is watching that.
Right. So Priyanka is asking, with the kind of pressure and sustainability issues with the employee in dealing with, what is the one most important skill that will have help to have a work-life balance?
Sorry, can you please come again?
What is the one most important skill that will help to have a work-life balance? Otherwise, you have answered this that you have to be stay focused and work diligently.
So let me tell you my example again. I reach office by 9:30 types, and I leave office by 7, maximum by 7:15 types. So bring in discipline in whatever you are doing, whether it is the office work or your personal life. Spend some time in your personal grooming. This also includes maintaining discipline in terms of doing your exercise regularly. If you are into yoga, please do that diligently. Bring in discipline in whatever you are doing. You would see that the things would be in much more control, in your own control. Once you start getting control of the things, the stress automatically will wipe out.
Right. So Roshan Singh is asking, sir, what kind of AI skills can we learn in the current scenario to stay relevant?
See, for the relationship managers or the frontline bankers, you don't need to learn the AI skill set. AI skill set is something which is required for the back end jobs. The people who are writing the algorithms or mining the data, they are the people who are required to have the AI skill set. But for the front office jobs, this AI skill set, I mean, it's good to have an understanding about the AI. But typically, as I said earlier, if you are understanding the bank's products, if you know your customer well, and if you are well-rounded personality, well-groomed, 90% of your things will be taken care. So don't get bogged down by AI, digital banking, etc. uh, for 90% of the bankers, this is like you, it's good to know, but you won't be required to master this skill set to survive in a bank. I don't have any skill set in AI.
You very rightly said, sir. Last week only I was thinking कि जब भी मैं बैंक्स में जाता हूँ एचआर से मिलता हूँ आई कीप ऑन आस्किंग सर व्हाट इज द थिंग वी शुड इनकॉर्पोरेट इन आवर करिकुलम सो बोलते हैं कि आप ना बच्चों को एआई सिखाओ सो व्हेन आई वेंट टू दिस प्रोफेसर इन आईएसबी आई आस्क्ड हिम कि यार पहले तो मेरे को एआई सिखाओ डू यू नो पाइथन यू नो एल्गोरिदम्स दिस ऐसे ऐसे क्वेश्चंस पूछे मैं कहा नहीं सर तो कहता फिर आपने क्या करना है सीख के मैं कहा सर वो बोलते हैं कि बच्चों को सिखाओ वो कहता सिर्फ रेलिवेंसी बताओ कि व्हाट एआई विल डू इन बैंकिंग इन कस्टमर सर्विस इन रिलेशनशिप मैनेजमेंट अदरवाइज नथिंग हैज़ टू लर्न एनीथिंग या ऐसा बेसिक अवेयरनेस होनी चाहिए सर
Exactly.
देर इज़ वन क्वेश्चन
So
बाय
please,
विशाल
yeah, please.
is there will be any impact on banking jobs due to AI? So I think you have already answered that relationship management is what will be required. Sir, Shalinder Guru is saying, sir, Will fintechs disrupt corporate banking in coming years?
Uh, this has already started impacting corporate banking in some manner or the other. So to give you specific example, now there are fintechs available in the market who are helping the corporate bankers in decision making. As I said earlier, um, maybe about a decade back or maybe 2 decades back, the only source of information about a client used to be the client himself. We used to get the papers from the client, only then we were able to make a decision. But now there is so much data which is available in the public domain that you can make a decision even without meeting a customer. The credit rating reports, the balance sheets which are in the public domain. So through that you can by and large know what kind of appetite that you have. So to answer your thing specifically, I will not restrict it to only the artificial intelligence. It will the digital technology which has helped the corporate bankers in decision making, and this is helping in a more positive way than in any disruptive way. I would say take it that way. We still require the corporate bankers. We still require the relationship managers. We are increasing the headcounts. So if the question is whether we are reducing the headcounts, the answer is as of now no.
Right. So the last question we will take, Makhnoor Singh is asking, please suggest some useful tips in customer service. So how to
Uh,
make customer happy.
so I would say that, as I said earlier, understand your customer, uh, speak according to the audience you are speaking to. If you are speaking to some elderly, your language has to be different. If you are speaking to Gen Z, you have to speak in their language. You can't offer a technology driven product to an elderly, but the same product can easily be sold to a tech savvy person. So let me give you an example. I will try to give you a rather easy example for that. A net banking facility. If you go and speak about a net banking facility to a 65 or a 70-year-old person, the probability of success would be little less as compared to if you speak about that net banking facility to a 25 or a 30-year-old person. So
Right.
understand your products, understand the audience you are selling that product, and accordingly the probability of success will be much much higher. And it is not about uh, making the customer happy. It is also about understanding for what he has come to the branch or come to the bank, and and delivering on that particular underlying requirement. And this is where I think if we focus as much as on the delivery, the rest of the things will automatically come.
Right. Right. Right, sir. Thank you for your time. And I am sure the audience and myself learned a lot. So we have to focus on our product. We should have good knowledge of about our product and the client with which we are dealing with. And then we should have that relationship skills, which from where we can excel from a bank officer to the president of any bank. So thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your time. And any last remarks, sir? Any?
No, no, it's a good field to be in. Banking is an exciting career. So my only advice would be that give it some time before you decide to move on to some other industry or to some other career. I'm sure with 1 or 2 years, you will get a better understanding about this industry.
Right.
So my
Thank you,
best
sir.
wishes. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And we will come up with the next session after 15 days. Stay tuned to my profile, Gursimran Singh Oberoi, or at Institute of Professional Banking. Thank you, everyone, for joining today.
Thank you, Ji.